Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. I know I am super duper late on this, but I still haven't claimed my war season rewards. I've been really busy with other stuff, 8.4 and the Glycon guide and getting that content done. So we're finally going to get to that today. This season was a little bit different than previous seasons. We'll probably talk about that a little more in the video. Let's go ahead and claim these rewards though. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into the rewards. We've got 2 5-star relics here. Don't really care what I get out of here too much. SIGs on the relics that I have that affect my prestige would be great, but otherwise, whatever works here. First relic is giving us SIGs on Sinister. I think I just duped him the other day after 8.4, so that's fine. I think that's probably SIG 40 for now. Not really a prestige option at the moment. He would need to get quite a bit higher for that, so... And then my second relic is getting us a SIGs on Ghost Rider. I think that bumps him up to like 60 or 80, so he might be worth ranking up now. Okay, just 60. I think he would need to be 80 before he would affect Prestige. But yeah, happy with both of those. Those are good relics. Alright, so I picked 3 Science Nexus Crystals from the rewards. And again, I'm not really chasing any specific 6-star champions these days. However, I would like a dupe on Red Guardian. He is really, really good. And even though I am overflowing in Awakening Gems right now, if I can get a dupe out of here, that'd be great. SIGs on Electro would be nice. I just took him up to rank 5 the other day. Or SIGs on I-Bomb would also be good. There's a couple champs I think I'm missing out of the base pool, but not anybody I'm going to rank up, so it doesn't really matter. So let's see what we get out of here. First Nexus is giving us, let's take the Max Sig Crystal here. Right, number 2, first time awakening on MODOK. I will definitely take that. And then number 3 is getting us... Alright, well, we won't pass up on Red Hulk Sigs again. That's pretty good. Yeah, so no Red Guardian, that's fine. But MODOK was one of the champs that I wanted to get a first time dupe on. Still won't rank him up. And then happy with SIGs on Red Hulk, and a Max Sig Crystal from Void is also really good. Okay, those pulls actually gave me enough 7-star shards to open a 7-star crystal today, so we'll go ahead and do that. A lot of champs that I'm looking for out of this pool. I used all my rank up resources yesterday doing my 8.4 rank up, so... I'm not sure anybody I get out of here can go up right away, so let's see what we get here. Deathstrike dupe would be fantastic if we could manage that. Vox would be great. And stop. Oh, that's good too. Iron Man dupe, I will happily take that. He is chilling at rank 2 right now. I am assigned him in war sometimes. I really like Iron Man. He is a super champion and a tank on defense in the right matchup. So yeah, definitely happy with that one. Alright, let's move on into the review portion of the vid. So I mentioned a moment ago that this season a little bit different, a little bit more challenging than previous seasons for me in SSX. We made the decision as an alliance about halfway through the season to stop pushing and use the rest of the season to save our items, save our consumables, and practice the tactic, practice matchups, theorycraft matchups, that sort of thing. And then right after we decided to do that, they announced a change to the tactic. I'm a little curious about what might have happened had we continued to push, but we dug ourselves a pretty deep hole in the first half of the season, and I'm not sure that we would have been able to climb out of it. So as a result, this is the first season since I've been here that we did not finish in the Masters bracket. We finished in Platinum 1, the 10th alliance in that bracket, so it's 30th overall in Alliance War. 54 kills for me this season. That's a pretty much average amount of kills that I've had over the past few seasons. And then 4 deaths. All of those deaths came in the first half of the season. Once the tactic was changed and we stopped pushing, I actually didn't die the rest of the season, which was interesting. So I'm curious how next season is going to look for me personally. And then as an alliance, we finished with a 5-7 record. There was some mathematical possibility at the end of the season that if we had won out, we could have snuck into Masters. I think TJ did some math on that. But we ended up losing to DSVG, who was continuing to push at the end of the season, and that pretty much killed that possibility. So, all right, let's take a look at my fight summary for the season. Greens, of course, are solos. Yellows are fights that I died to. And for the first time in 11 seasons here in SSX, I finally have an orange box on the board. That is the first time I've ever double KO'd to a fight here in Tier 1. that Photon there in War 5. In terms of my favorite fight, I think I'm going to have to go with the Kindred Mini in War 9 there against LOZZ. So that was kind of like an audible that I had called for myself. I was originally assigned Void for that fight. That was a Hazard Shift Mini with Incinerate and Poison. And I really didn't want to play around the Poison part of the Hazard Shift node, especially when it's really important to punish Kindred specials to kind of keep those Nightmare, those Infestation charges off of you. So I had Anti-Venom at rank 4. He's been rank 4 Sig 200 for a long time now. I had the materials to take him up to rank 5. He was a perfect counter to that fight in terms of the Hazard Shift immunities. So I ended up just taking him up, kind of on the fly and taking him in for that war. And he absolutely punked that Kindred. He turned off the root at the end with his Disorients, made the fight look really, really easy. So that's probably my favorite fight. In terms of my least favorite fight, I think it's easy to say that Photon fight with Black Cat. I think the fight would have gone a little bit differently had that Photon been duped, because I would have been dealing a significantly higher amount of burst damage, causing her debuffs to fail in my basic combos, but unfortunately she was not duped, and I really, really struggled to get that fight down, obviously. But I'm going to have to go with that Thing fight in War number 2 with Void. So Thing on 49 was a meta placement this season. We saw him there in several wars this season. I was asked to kind of clean up for somebody else in that war with Void, and then Brute Force pretty much destroyed me. Because Thing was very passive in that fight, and that was the first time I've ever died with Void in Tier 1, which was a huge bummer. Managed to get revenge for that fight in the final war. That was the war that I ended up planning myself, and the first thing I did was pencil in Void there for that 49 Thing, and I was able to get him down. So a little bit of redemption there, and I'm sure I will be seeing Thing on that node next season as well. All right, let's take a look at my most used attackers for this season, and no surprises there in the top spot with Void. He was a tactic attacker again this season, hadn't been since way back in the Decay seasons, and it is a safe bet that whenever Void is a tactic attacker, he is going to be my most used option. I'm the only one in the battle group who has ever assigned Void for anything. In fact, I think I'm the only one in the battle group who even has him ascended. But I kind of take some pride in that, being like the Void guy. If there's a fight on the map where he's going to be the best option for, it is guaranteed that he's going to be assigned to me, and I really appreciate kind of being trusted with stuff like that. I think there's also a little bit of Void might not be the best option for this fight, but Sim is pretty good with him, so let's just go ahead and assign that. So Iceman is a champ that I took specifically to rank 5 and ascended for this season, expecting to need him quite a bit, and need him we did, 7 fights for him. A little surprised to see Deathstrike still in the top 5. She was tactic in the previous 2 seasons with Crush 2.0, and I really thought her usage would drop off a little, but we kept seeing Sauron up on that high energy diet node, so that's an easy Deathstrike fight. Strife again tied for 3rd. Again, a tactic attacker. We used him for some fun fights this season. Chavez and Nimrod coming in and tying for the 5th spot there. A little surprised to see Nimrod enjoying a bit of a resurgence this season. I used him a lot in my first 2 seasons here, and then he fell off a cliff big time. So, fun to break him out now and then. A bunch of other random champs there, rounding out the rest of the list there. Ironheart got a few fights in this season. Black Cat had a couple as well. King Groot even made an appearance, and Maestro, we took a Hazard Shift null with Maestro in one war. That was a super fun fight. Getting to use Maestro offensively was a lot of fun, and I hope there are additional opportunities for that going forward. Next thing I want to take a look at is my loyalty expenses for the season. And again, this is going to look very different than it has in previous seasons, because as of War 6 or War 7 or whatever it was, we had made the decision to stop pushing, and so my consumable usage kind of went down to near 0 after that. I was very stingy with the gray boosts. I did use a potion here or there just for fights that I wanted to, just try and practice with. So as a result, my expenses are a lot lower than they have been in previous seasons, but by the same token, we lost a lot more wars this season than we had previously, so my income is also much lower than it's been before. So having said all that, we still ended up with a net gain of over 300,000 loyalty. Plus, we got the compensation bundle from this season, which I think was like well over 1 million. So I didn't really factor that into here, but I think I'm chilling at like 3.5, maybe almost 4 million loyalty right now, which I'm excited to waste on additional loyalty crystals where I don't pull the champion that I want. So last but certainly not least, and I know I go through this in every single season rewards and review video, but I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of the officers and planners in SSX, specifically those in my battle group BG3. So our primary war planners are DLL and Royu, and then Na aka Mudkip handles the defense for BG3. So, I say this every season. These guys put in so much work, season after season, war after war, making sure that we are in a position to succeed. And this season, unlike others that we've had in SSX, we stopped pushing halfway through, and I think it would have been easy for us as an alliance, as a battle group, to just say, screw it, send everybody in with whatever champs you want. But DLO and Royu specifically wanted to continue planning for the season, just trying to test out matchups, test out, theory craft for next season 49. And I really give them a lot of credit for that, kind of keeping us on task, even though we were essentially done pushing for the season. So, again, big thank you and shout out to those guys. That's going to do it for another season of Alliance War, folks. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next season.